my Nubian beauties. Welcome back to the Dark Skin Click. Y'all know who this is. I'm Akila Shea, back at it again with another video. And today I would like to give my commentary on one of the most messiest reality TV dating shows of summer 2024. Give it up for Perfect Match Season 2, you guys. Now, there's a lot that I can say about this cast all around, but I'm particularly focusing on the experience of the two dark-skinned contestants on the show. Like, really, you guys, this was a major L. And to be fair, I think that any woman, regardless of race, that comes on a show like this is taking an L. Because shows like Perfect Match, Love Island, Too Hot to Handle, they are heavily centered around the male gaze, and more often than not, the men have most of the power in the villa. And you just see these women break down. I mean, they become emotionally vulnerable for fuckboys. They start doing raunchy, embarrassing things just to get the attention of some guy that doesn't care about them. And even worse, I've seen women of all races on this show start to question their value, worth, and beauty. And it's sad, and that's what I saw a lot of from both Tolu and Melinda, and I just don't like this look for black women. I don't. I love seeing Tolu on screen. I've always gotten along well with Nigerian women. So if you're Nigerian, please leave a comment. My first black best friend was Nigerian. I remember seeing Tolu first in The Trust, and she was just so strong. She stood her ground, intelligent, articulate, very poised, very confident. Her confidence, lit up the room, and I just saw that confidence shatter in this season of Perfect Match, and it was devastating to watch. At first, Tolu was linked up with Izzy from one of the previous seasons of Love is Blind, and if you guys are familiar with him or if you've watched Perfect Match, he's a very sweet guy. He's easygoing, nice, he seems kind, but I could tell that Tolu wasn't really into him like that. Kind of told on herself at the beginning of the season that she has an in-group preference for black men because she kept on saying, oh, my type is tall, dark, and handsome. Tall, dark, and handsome. So yeah, that's typical of us black women. A lot of black women have an in-group preference for black men. So with that being stated, I knew that she was going to switch up sooner or later. And when Dom came into the villa, surprise, from season 1, I knew that she was going to choose him over Izzy, which was a pivotal mistake, a very bad mistake, because for one, everybody knows that black women are not his type. And before you come in my comment section and say, you're telling people they can't have a preference. No, I'm not. He can prefer whoever he wants to. The point I'm making is that he wasn't attracted to her and he only used her to get into the villa. But she didn't understand that at the time because she was clouded by the fact that he was black and she's more attracted to black men. Let's be honest. And you guys know that I do not sway my audience in either direction. This isn't a swirling channel. This also isn't a pro-black love channel. The only thing I say is don't put any race of man on a pedestal. Izzy was the better choice. He offered more security. However, Tolu ignored that because of her worship and pedestalization of black men, and it bit her in the ass. And the lesson that can be learned from this particular situation with Tolu is go with whoever is presenting you the better deal, regardless of what race or skin tone he has. If the white person is offering you the better deal, go with the white person. If the black person is offering you the better deal, go with the black person. Skin tone, irrelevant. What's disheartening is that we did not know the extent of how Dom was mistreating her until after the finale. It aired on this channel called Out of the Pods. They did a podcast episode with Tolu, and she pretty much spilled the tea on how Dom was treating her. And I am glad that we live in the social media era where we all can have platforms to speak our truth, because a lot of the behavior that Tolu was talking about was cut out of the actual edit for the show. So yeah, she explains it in this video with the two Love is Blind contestants. I forget their names. It's pretty mind-boggling, and I won't be playing any clips from this podcast episode in this particular video because YouTube just be tripping on me. Sometimes even if I have a fair use claim, they'll still flag a video. So to play it safe, I won't be playing any of their clips. But if you want to know the tea, please go watch this video. And she starts talking about the Dom experience 35 minutes in. So after the whole Dom fiasco, you'd think that Tolu would have some dignity and actually just leave the show. And to her defense, she did contemplate leaving the show, but she contemplated leaving the show way too late. After the Dom situation, she ended up pairing up with Chris. And let me tell you, none of the viewers saw this coming, not even the other contestants that were on the show with them. Did you see how surprised and dumbfounded everybody looked when Chris started giving Tolu a lap dance and they started like making out or whatever? And I'll be honest about this relationship, they were definitely each other's last resort. We all know that Chris was very arrogant in the beginning. He thought that his looks can score him any woman in the villa. And that was off-putting to a lot of women that were his matches in the beginning of the show. And as for Tolu, we know what happened with her. She got rid of Izzy for Dom and pretty much just dug her own grave. So yeah, they were each other's last resort, definitely. But that doesn't mean that their connection wasn't genuine. I think that the fact that they were each other's last resort is kind of what forced them to get to know each other and form a bond. There's rumors circling around that Chris was faking it the entire time. He was just using her to stay in the villa. He really didn't like her. He wasn't attracted to her physically. A lot of people think he's really not attracted to dark-skinned black women and it's quote-unquote colorism. And you guys know that I'm the first person to call out colorism when I see it, you know? However, the situation with Chris and Tolu is not colorism, and it's kind of colorist to assume that no one can be genuinely attracted to a dark-skinned black woman with natural hair. People seem to forget that Chris, was about to choose Melinda, and Melinda is just as dark as Tolu, and they were attracted to each other on their previous show, Dated and Related. However, they couldn't get together because she was the host. He was a contestant. He was heavily contemplating coupling up with her when they went on that surprise date. However, he realized, or more so he saw, that she was still talking to other guys and trying to keep her options open. So at the end of the day, he chose the more secure option, Tolu. So you see, the problem with Chris is actually he's an arrogant fuckboy that's still trying to play the field and get as many notches on his belt with whatever race of woman, you know. The Asian woman, Dominique, he was trying to get with her. He was also trying to get with the Latin woman. He got with Tolu. You know, he was trying to get with Melinda. He's just a fuckboy. You know, this isn't an example of colorism. Women don't understand that it's difficult for men to fake attraction, okay? Like, if a man is not attracted to a woman, you're gonna know. And I don't see that with Chris and Tolu because they were all over each other every 10 seconds, kissing, playing with each other's hair, rubbing on each other, all this lovey-dovey stuff, you know. Men are horrible liars. Men cannot lie, and I don't think a man as straight as Chris can fake that much physical chemistry. I don't. And later on down the road, we figure out that they split after the show. I'm assuming that Chris started to pull back and slowly started to ghost her because he realized that he's a fuckboy, and even though they did have something, he's not ready to let go of that player lifestyle, if you know what I mean. And I've noticed that a lot of black women online are saying that Tolu got ghosted by him, like, after the finale, or he just, like, slowly cut down on communication because she's dark-skinned and because he never was into her. But people are not taking into account that 2 other non-black women also got ghosted. Allara got ghosted by Steven, and Elise got ghosted by Brighton. This was revealed in the Netflix video, like, where are they now? You know, what's happening? Are the couple still together? And yeah, Elise and Allara revealed that their batches ghosted them shortly after the show, the same way Tolu got ghosted. So in this situation, we can't say it's colorism. We just can't say it's colorism because 2 other people also got ghosted. 2 other non-black people also got ghosted. So you can't say colorism is the reason why her situation didn't work out with Chris. Chris is just a fuckboy that wants clout. That's why the situation didn't work out. It has nothing to do with her skin tone. It has nothing to do with her being, you know, less desirable. And the reason why I'm saying this is because, like, as much as I believe colorism is real, it's not present in every scenario. I think that this whole he never wanted her narrative, he was just faking it, it's all rooted in the fact that black women and society at large, you don't think that a woman like Tolu can genuinely be wanted, desired, and shown interest by a man. That's a part of it. Now, Chris isn't genuine because he's a fuckboy. It has nothing to do with colorism. That's just what I think. Now, the Dom situation, on the other hand, that is an example of colorism, along with the situation that happened with Melinda. I have to touch on that before I close out this video. I know I spent a lot of time on Tolu, but yeah, I want to talk about what went on with Melinda and Harry and Jess and all of that madness. When the whole drama with Jess, Harry, and Melinda happened, and the kiss, whether or not it was real, Harry and Melinda being all over each other at the men's retreat, I find it odd that Harry was believed over Melinda. And I find it odd that everybody jumped down Melinda's throats for trying to tell Jess the truth. And mind you, she isn't completely innocent because she was equally all over Harry. She was an equal participant. However, she didn't deserve to get ganged up on and treated like she was lying when we all know Harry has proved himself to be more of a liar. I think that there is actually an underlying racial bias as to why the villa believed Harry over Melinda. And towards the end, at the finale, you know, the show showed the truth because they record everything on that villa and they did see a kiss. So, and the fact that Melinda never got an apology from anyone in the villa after they practically called her a liar and made her look desperate, yeah, that's giving, I don't know. And one of the reasons why this was a bad PR move for these 2 is because, yeah, the Netflix, whatever, they made these women, the way they edited the film, they made these women to look like they were desperate when they were actually just playing the game, just like all the other contestants. But I noticed that within these Netflix shows or within these dating shows in general, they're always trying to make the black women look pathetic. And I know that may be a reach to some of you, but that's just my genuine opinion. And I feel like Melinda almost like ruined her image with this show, actually, because like she was hosting Dated and Related. She was like rising above being a contestant. So she came back on here and this pretty much just like knocked her down a couple of notches. And she also got embarrassed because everyone thought she was lying about what happened with the Harry situation. And it just destroyed her credibility and her likability. Because a lot of people are now calling her a mean girl, a quote-unquote mean girl, for trying to tell Jess the truth, or they're trying to make it out like she tried to embarrass Jess. And it's like, no, she's just on this show playing the game just like everybody else, trying to get screen time just like everybody else. This was a bad PR move for Tolu as well. I mean, she did really good with the trust. You know, she became a main character, and she was a main character here too, but it was pretty obvious that she wasn't fully into her confidence yet. That's why she's now on her Instagram lives talking about how her beauty isn't for the male gaze, and all the contestants were colorist, quote unquote colorist, and yeah, most of these dating shows, the type of men they choose usually do not like dark-skinned women. I don't think that was the situation with Chris and her. But yeah, these shows are usually not for dark-skinned women. And both of these women know that, both Melinda and Tolu. So since they know that, they should just keep themselves off these types of shows and elevate to more stuff that can actually improve their image. The type of shows that dark-skinned black women influencers should be trying to aim for is like shows like The Bachelorette, where all of the men are competing for you. All of the men are competing for your attention, not the other way around. This is a prime example of you positioning yourself to be the prize, you building your pedestal. I am very pleased that in recent years, they started using black female contestants for The Bachelorette, because this is true good representation that's going to help us combat the negative media promotion that we've been getting for years upon years upon years. I'd rather see Melinda or Tolu as a contestant on The Bachelorette, where all of the men are competing for their attention, because shows like, Too Hot to Handle, Perfect Match, Love Island, for one, they're filthy, and they always make this depiction of black women getting chosen last, or black women being desperate, and it's very male-centered. I mean, dating in general is about the opposite gender, but the male gaze is the center of Too Hot to Handle and Perfect Match. Lust and the male gaze is the center of that, whereas on The Bachelorette, it's about marriage and values, and that's something that we need to make more of an emphasis on in the black community: marriage and values. So I want black women to collectively stop going on these booty shows, titty shows, giving lap dances shows. Society has already had enough of that depiction of us. We need to change it up. We need to say, we're marriage-minded too. We have values too. We're not just for sex. We're not always chosen last. We're not desperate. We're not crying over guys all day. So the Perfect Match, the Too Hot to Handles, they are not good PR promotion and representation of dark-skinned black women. And we need to work on creating more better collective imagery when it comes to dating, marriage, and courtship and black women. This was a long one, but y'all know who this is. I'm Akila Shea, and if you want more content like this, please subscribe to the Dark Skin Click, and I'll see you in the next one.